Hello. Today's 24th September, so we are having a MicroProfile technical call. So please help out with the minutes. And let me share the agenda. Share. Okay. So it's so we have basically quite a few things to discuss today. So it's for the spec page update. So at the moment, basically, we're working on the overall spec page, and hopefully it's kind of that can be done hopefully next week also. So it's yeah, stay tuned with this. And good news is kind of all the standard, basically all the component spec pages has been drafted. The other thing is I'm so pleased to see Taran here. So I appreciate Taran you join. I know it's really late in India. So let's give you the floor to tell us the current status for the MP tutorials. Taran.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Emily. Okay. I am now ready to resume the work because of some other the other engagements.
Can't hear you, Taran. Are you talking?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Am I audible? Right. Yeah. If
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm going ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, Emily, yes, I am. Yes, definitely. I have resumed working on MP tutorials, and there were 11 chapters planned, and we have merged already 6 chapters. 7th chapter has some review comments, which I also have resolved. So chapter 7 can be re-reviewed and can be merged into the repository, which is MicroProfile tutorial. And on the remaining chapters from 8 to 11, I plan to work this per week so that in next 4 weeks I can complete this, and then by building the tutorial site using Antora and ASCII doc. That is also I plan to do it right once I have all these chapters.
Also, to run for your for the samples, can you also check into the basically the tutorial page? So for the app.
Yeah, the app I will check in. Yeah, definitely the Antora based site aggregator. I'll put that and I'll update the yes, the code for tutorial for wizard based tutorial. Yeah, it's done in not Jakarta tutorial that I'll do here as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah, that I have to
Okay.
get to start that building that site so that all these ASCII docs can be put into the wizard in the tutorial format. That yes, I'll also do in parallel.
Yeah, so okay, for this PRMP metrics, yeah, we'll review it and hopefully either merge in or if we have more comments, we'll play that.
Sure, I'll look into and yes, any further comments I'll resolve and also share the remaining chapters.
can you hear me now? Somehow my connection.
Yes.
So it's kind of the yeah, it's let me share again. Share. Oh, sorry about that. Let me share. So it's Turan. So it's when do you think you will be able to finish this? Finish the tutorial. Is
You're
it
mute.
me? Yeah, you're muted. I thought
Sure.
it's
So, yeah, I plan to finish this around 16th of October. Right.
oh, okay, 16th
Sure.
October.
Yes, yeah, around middle of October is what I'm planning to do that. As I said, that yes, hardly means I'll work on to kind of check in the remaining chapters in a per week time frame, and if I get the reviews and all done and ready to merge from my side, I will try to get these things completed. Yeah.
Yeah, say 18th October, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good. So also you will check in the app. Sample.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so that's great. Thank you so much. Anybody, anyone
yeah.
have a question? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so this is sample code as well as the tutorial wizard.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
Any comments like for Tura? Any questions?
No.
Okay, great. Okay, then thank you so much, Turan. And so, yeah, so keep up with the good work, and we will basically is keep on reviewing it, and yeah, and then so which let's make a best use this is after kind of summer vacation time and to try to get this closed this year.
Sure.
Okay,
And
thank you so
yes,
much.
I'll joining the calls also later for any further queries.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
I'm leaving for today. See you in coming weeks.
yeah, great. So Monday is next Monday is a marketing call. If you want to come to that call, feel free to attend the marketing call. That's kind of 1 hour earlier if it's better for you.
Sure. I'll update you about if I'm available during that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Yes, I
absolutely.
definitely will try to attend that as well.
Yeah. Is basically if you need to discuss anything, and then
Sure.
yeah, we'll make sure you have some minutes for you. Okay,
Perfect.
great. Thank you, Turan. And you don't need
Sure.
to stay, and I appreciate you joining the call. And I know it's been
Thank you.
quite a bit there. Okay, take care, and then we'll communicate offline. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so next thing is basically based on last time's conversation about MP starter. Basically is MP starter is quite a few people came to me and said, do you know why is the MP starter still stuck on the 5.0? And we really need to make progress. So it's yeah. Thank you so much, Alfonso. So you volunteered last time. So now the doodle poll is open. So please
Yes.
fill in the
Regarding this topic, Emily, I started to review the code and also the last issue reported from the latest pull request, and I saw that probably we need to improve also the whole project because this project is very coupled with the Java's namespace. It seems that it's using a previous version of Jakarta.
Yeah.
Some dependencies are very old. So probably we can make the effort to upgrade using the latest probably Jakarta 10. So yeah, I saw that kind of problems because I tried to run this against a Payara server, but it's not possible. I just tested with the Open Liberty. So I use the command, the normal command to use Open Liberty, and it's running on my local. But yeah, I saw that stuff. Yeah, probably we can create some issues and upgrade the project.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's the because Open Liberty has a zero migration, it has it's kept all the features. So even though the latest version also you can run the JavaX namespace. So yeah, I think we really need to modernize the starter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's basically wait to get the doodle poll finished hopefully this week, and then like in October time, with the second week of October, we will just get started.
Yeah, I will create the issue, and from that we can
Okay.
advance.
Okay, so that's good. And then I will try to have an offline conversation.
With Cesar? No, not yet. Just with Luis, because we are together on Payara. But yeah, I would try to talk with Cesar because I remember that Cesar said that also he can contribute with this.
Yeah, that's right. Says yeah. So hopefully, are you saying Alfonso, you and Luis both will work on this, or you just you?
Right now, me, but I talked with Luis because he started some time ago with some contribution. So
Okay.
I just review the previous work, and from that I start.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And also I will talk with Com because he knows the architecture, basically the Cloudflare and all these account. So we need to make sure we can publish the live version with the web app. Okay, can go from there. Yeah. Any comments for MP starter? Okay, if not, the next thing is the technical goal. So I think the next week we'll be having a steering committee call. So with that, basically we will need to review all the current technical goals, program basically plan goals, either close them or carry them forward. And also we need to think about new plan, and etc. So for this one basically the improve alignment with infrastructure, and have a better end user experience. So are there any kind of not sure what else we should be doing in this area? Somebody else have share any insight about what else we should do better, or we could just close it because we do stay kind of current with some open telemetry and also the Java versions as well. any more actions we need to be doing on this?
Yeah, do we support the Java module system?
No,
In case?
we don't have that Java module support. The reason is, I don't know. We have not seen any demand from our customer about module support. I don't know what about the Yarrow and the Red Hat and the Quarkus and etc. So Roberto, what's your feedback on this?
Yeah, we have no requirements for modules, and we have no one asking for modules.
I'm asking for it because it's required as a replacement for security boundaries for calling functions, so limiting the access for reflection. With a security manager got dropped, this could be a replacement for tasks like that. These are special use cases, but in high security environments, that's a requirement.
Okay, maybe
So-
you can.
Well, in our case, we limit the reflection call, so usually it's not a problem for us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, there was a complaint recently in a forum after MicroProfile release that the model support is required for native compilation, and people was going around and making comments that why in all these years MicroProfile has never paid attention to the Java models. Is a feature that is on place since Java 9. So.
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if somebody is on the call, Helidon, for example, makes use of it, right?
Modules
Yeah,
are not
well,
required for native compilation.
that is the complaint was exactly that in Helidon you have the two approaches. You can use the Helidon MicroProfile or the other version, and in MicroProfile you have to manipulate manually the module's definition to get a better optimized runtime. I'm trying to investigate to give a response in the forum, but basically being with the technical people, we can produce a use case and see why it is a need for the community to take care of those aspects.
And we should ask Ed Brad or Thomas or Dimitri for details on Helidon, maybe.
So Emerson, are you saying the native compilation require the Java modules?
Yeah, from my understanding, it's like a way to improve the size of the final code, because if you indicate in the modules what do you need, the final binary release is gonna be optimized. So they were contrasting between the version of any other implementation taking into account the models and MicroProfile, and saying that the results are much better when you take care of the models because the way the JLib works is based on that definition, define the minimum Java runtime you need. So something like that. I can go deeper and share in the forum or in the mail list what I saw, and so maybe we can follow up after the call.
Okay, so that's good. Let's yeah, you find out more and then we can discuss next time. Okay, so it's a kind of maybe the next time when Ed Brad is here, and then we can ask him about the kind of the Halliday story, and then we can revisit that. Okay, are there any other things? Okay, so we can revisit this kind of the next time we have more information.
Yeah, I think one thing I'll say is that maybe on the next call, we should, I have to go look at the dates, but we should talk about what we want to do for 2025. So here you're kind of trying to finish up what we've got in the
Oh,
2024
yes.
plan. So
Yeah.
the next call, we should figure out, do we want to carry these forward, the ones that have not been accomplished, and are there any new ones? So just a heads up.
Yeah, that's right. That probably I wasn't express myself clearly. Yeah, earlier I said we revisit this and we decide which ones can be closed and which ones we want to move forward. Maybe it's for example for this one. So for this one, like Emerson, are you still interested for moving this forward, evaluate the gap with Spring Framework?
Yes, this is part of the where we started in that Nexus, just asking to the people.
Yeah.
So I think that the next step, since I get the Survey Monkey, is looking for some help to design a survey that can cover and recall from the community that information. I think that could be an approach to address that task.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's an interesting thing to see.
I think there was a talk from Keto Man, when I remember correctly, on Jakarta live stream, where he compares Spring and Spring Boot with Jakarta and MicroProfile on the other side. Maybe that can be a resource, because yeah, that's a technical comparison, right? Not only asking about behavior or how it feels, or is that the question you want to answer and therefore want to wait for the survey results?
Yeah, sounds good. Do you have the link? Yeah. Do you have the link? Yeah. So you are on mute. If you have a link,
I can look if I can find it. Don't remember which year it was, 1 or 2 years ago, I think.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, please put in the issue. Maybe it's kind of some useful information.
Yeah, or for the next call latest. Yeah.
Yeah, so the next one is continue the MicroProfile Jakarta year alignment. So for this one, basically it's kind of the work JWT bridge. So basically we should just like reactivate the MicroProfile JWT bridge So John, did you have a chance to speak to Sergey for this one?
No, guilty on that one, but I'll do that today. Sorry, I know I had an AI for that.
Okay, thank you. And that'll be yeah, later on we can talk about in the next couple months what else we should do for MicroProfile. This is kind of one of the good candidates. Can get that released. That would be good. Okay. Me put in here.
Did we lose Emily? You still there?
Yes, sorry, I was busy
okay.
talking. Just trying to okay, trying to do the minutes. So the next one, technical goals. And then resume activity on existing MP specs. I think this one can be closed since we have made some progress, good progress on the MP7 and all 4 specs have made active kind of the update. Any objections? This can be closed. Okay, we'll close
I think it's fine.
Okay, thank you. And then here, evaluate the new specs. So again, I think is kind of this link to MPAI, kind of the basically the new idea. So I know the team, the AI team, we have a weekly course and very active development there. We have is really, I mean, really active so far. Like is a lot of work going on. Like a lot of launching 4G kind of integration with many kind of the runtimes. So it's I think it would be great in 2024. We can have a creation plan, basically go to the ballot for this one. So at least basically we demonstrate the innovation, demonstrate we are moving along rather than basically making small baby steps. So this is kind of will accomplish our like this goal, evaluate new specifications. So are there any comments for this one? So it's with that basically it's in the next few weeks basically we'll work in the MP basically it's the AI group or in basically doing prototype in the small LLM GitHub repo. So we'll just come together and to see what work on to create a plan and then circulate and then go from there.
So Roberto, have Has there not been enough interest in the converter spec?
Not
Yeah.
until now.
So maybe we can discuss this here. What people think we like create a new spec converter, MicroProfile converter. It's basically converter from one Java type to the other. So it's very useful. It's meant to not be a bad idea, like also kind of create a kind of straw man to see the like so for people to discuss. What do you think, Roberto?
I mean, I showed interest in the past multiple times to do something like this, but I mean, if no one, I mean, if there is no interest, it's fine. I mean, I'm using it internally for some of our stuff, so there is not much point in doing some wide work when no one else is interested. So I'll just prefer to do it locally for the things that I need, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be sufficient interest from others, besides just Red Hat and specifically Roberto to work on a spec. So,
Yeah. So what I'm thinking, like maybe is kind of a couple of sentences and say, okay, I have this proposal. Does anybody is anybody interested to join this effort? Even nobody say anything, I think it should be it. Okay, Yan, you have a hands up.
Yeah. Very generic implementation that is widely used is integrated into Apache Camel. There are type converters for a hell of types to be converted into other types. So if going into that direction and making a specification out of it, maybe that's an approach to start from, where there's an implementation that does a lot of things already.
So
right, but the question too is, I mean, is this something, Jan, that you would be interested in participating on at the spec level?
Yeah, at the moment I'm a heavy user of Apache Camel during my regular project work. Therefore, I'm using it. To be honest, I don't feel the need to write a specification out of it at the moment. But yeah.
So the goal of the specification will be for other specifications to consume it, not for the end user, right? So a couple of examples is MicroProfile config has its own conversion APIs and schemes. MicroProfile job has their own conversion and API schemes as well for conversion, right? And I can name like 5 or 6 more specs, also in Jakarta, that have their own ways to do conversion stuff. The goal was to have a baseline conversion spec that everyone could reference, and then instead of having to deal with 5, 6, 7, 8 different APIs on each of these particular specs, well, you only have one. Even though it does, now that I'm talking about it, it does seem the old conversation about logging, which is, well, there are like 5, 10, 15 different standards, so let's just make a new one that's going to unify everything else, right?
Yeah.
But in this particular case, I think it's a little bit different, right? Because at least from what I see it, right? So when if you put the logging example side to side with this, I mean, on logging, you just go and pick whatever logging framework you want, and that's it, right? And yes, you're gonna have issues with standardization and stuff, but on this particular case, that's not the issue, right? So
given what
you
you
sorry.
know, consuming it, should it actually be defined on the Jakarta side then?
Maybe. So what I'm saying is, for me, the particular issue is that Jakarta is a platform, right? And so it doesn't give you. So while the logging, you can give that argument that doesn't make any sense, but for Jakarta, right? So it doesn't give you that feeling to be like an integrated platform, right? Because you go and while you go for JPA, and then you have to deal with the way they do conversion. Then you go to CDI, well, not CDI, CDI doesn't do conversion, but you go to config or JOT, and they have to deal with their own way to do conversion. So for me, that's an issue because that's inside the same platform, and that should be consistent, and it should feel integrated, right?
Yeah, I understand. Maybe we take that as a separate point, especially for the config discussion we plan to have with the Jakarta people together, finding a way how to do the transition of MP config to Jakarta config, maybe as a subset of MP config. So MP config can be then based on that Jakarta config spec. And think about, especially in that case, if it could make sense to have a separate converter specification that can be used by Jakarta config and MP config. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's not only about those, right? So once you have a converter spec, if we get into that point, then any other one, and I mean, the recommendation will be for all the other specs that require conversion to do it, right? Pretty much the same way that right now you have multiple specifications or doing configuration pretty much different ways, right?
Yeah.
So ideally, you want to unify all of that.
Yeah. Then when we can start, I think, with a config aspect, and then wide the scope to all the component specs that on one side want to solve the config in a general way, and to do the type conversion in a general way too. Yeah, maybe then list these specs that might benefit from a specification like that.
So I'm gonna, I feel obligated to reiterate this again. From my perspective, and it's not necessarily a reflection of Roberto's perspective or other individuals, I don't find it too interesting to work on Jakarta specs that we can't vote on. Right? In MicroProfile, we could vote on them and have a say, a final say, whereas in Jakarta, we can't. Right? So I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. So, I mean, it's something that Roberto and I will probably have to talk about if things like this happen in Jakarta.
Yeah, you could have been elected to get a vote, but you don't send a candidate, right?
No, I don't know if that's the case. Given the amount of activity that we do within Jakarta, that would have been a nice outcome, but that's not where we're at today.
Yeah, I mean, I was not discussing the fact where this is going to land, right? The problem is, and we have that discussion, and sometimes it feels that it goes into circles, right? Because if we come to the conclusion that any spec from here may be used by Jakarta, then what are we doing here on MicroProfile, right? Because at the moment, there are no, I mean, we tried to put that into place, but I think we were not successful to try to come up with a way where both projects could consume each other's, but I think we're still a long way to have that decided, but at least I guess that was decided some time ago, but it didn't work out very well. and even for Jakarta config. I mean, we as Red Hat and me myself as an individual, I was there for 2 years, and we were unable to accomplish the required work to make that happen, right?
I understand that completely, and I think that's one of the big fails in the last Jakarta releases. Not got that finished in any way. What I really want to prevent that we end up with two configuration specs that may be incompatible to each other, and the Jakarta side, as far as I know, the people involved there, like Dimitri, for example, would be happy to restart these efforts to make progress on that side.
Well, but you do realize that by having Jakarta config, that's like creating two specs, because there was already one spec, right? And I don't want to go to the discussion again, but there was already a spec which was MicroProfile config, and we could have done it in a way to make it work for Jakarta, but people decided the other way around. So now we have to go back to the drawing board and do everything from scratch again, and that was super hard. Instead of picking up something that was already out there, even if it was not perfect, but I was pretty sure that we could make it work. I mean, technically things can be solved, right? It's all about politics.
Yeah, I
But
think
I just want to give another try, but that's a separate topic then, for a separate meeting.
yeah, I think we should table that. I think is the way going to the circle again. Okay, so it's back to here, like at least for the MPAI, we can probably can making more progress. And then the config, the converters basically need more interest. So please do think about it to see whether you're interested. And then we can discuss again in 2 weeks to see whether is basically either close it or not to pursue, or kind of make a stop on it. Okay, so we only have 30 minutes now. Are there any other final point for the technical goals? So we managed to basically close some, so it's 4 left. So basically we revisit in the next meeting, and then we either close it or carry forward to 2025. Okay, if not, next term discussion. So basically, it's we know we got MicroProfile 7 auto door. Thank you, everybody, for your help and support on that. So in the next pretty much quarter is kind of, or maybe it's just over 2 months. So it's I think it would be nice if we could release MPDWT bridge, this spec, and also we can kind of create a new spec. So that would be kind of the successfully, hopefully accomplish at least one like a program plan. So it's 2 actually. This demonstrates kind of the Jakarta integration. I know Jakarta community also looking forward to see this really to be released, and this one will be a demonstration. MicroProfile is moving along nicely, gaining more kind of different activities, and also stay current with the new technologies and etc. Are there any feedback and comments for this? Okay, so if not, hopefully in the next 2 weeks, in next time, we just kind of have more concrete information for that. So next one, I think John, you put it in here, Jakarta Core TCK. Do you want to discuss this?
Well, there was questions about whether or not, and this was on the Jakarta platform call, Quarkus could be an implementation, a compatible implementation for the core profile. So I brought it up to Roberto from the technical aspect. And so he had some questions about the TCK. So that's the context. I'm going to hand it over to Roberto to describe some thoughts around the TCK. So go for it,
Yeah, I
Roberto.
mean, so right now the core TCK is just a zip file that you have to download from the Eclipse website. Then going from there, you have to do like a bunch of operations on that. Of course, unzip that, and then the zip file is not like a plain thing. It's just like a zip with other jars inside, which contains the TCKs for the core stuff, plus like a directory structure. So it's not really like a standard thing, right? So it kind of, I mean, it's doable, right? But I mean, it is, I don't know, we are like 2024 these days, and I think that we shouldn't rely on these kind of things. Technology wise, you see? So I don't see the reason why we're doing this when TCKs for MicroProfile, they're just in central, right? You can just reference them directly in your build file, and then you can just run whatever is over there with one of the plugins that runs stuff, right? So the way that is done for the core TCK is just like a pain, right? Because there is nothing on central. You have to create like shell scripts, and of course, shell scripts don't work depending on the environment that you are. So, I mean, yeah, you can abstract all of that, but it's just like, I don't know, you already have the build tool to abstract that for yourself, right? So I don't really see the reason why the core TCK profile is just not like a regular jar file with whatever test you want to run over there, sitting on central, and then you'll just reference that on your build file and you just run that, and you do the same things for CDI, JSONP, JSONB, and REST. Actually, that's what we already do with Quarkus. So in Quarkus, we do run the TCKs for core individually, right? I mean, for the entire Quarkus runtime, we'll just go and say we'll just pick up the TCK from central for all of these specs, plus all the MicroProfile specs, right? And then it was John that got me into my intention say there was like a specific Jakarta core TCK with some additional tests, but then I ended up seeing how that was done, and I feel that that's not like the right approach. Another thing that for me doesn't make much sense is requiring signature tests, especially when you're already referencing the APIs that are official from either Jakarta or MicroProfile, right? I mean, I understand that historically the signature tests were there because vendors will have to create their own API jars, but that's not the case anymore. I mean, for implementations that still do that, of course, I think that the signature tests should be mandated. But if you're referencing the official APIs or the official jars, and that's really easy to check by just looking into the build report, then those shouldn't be required at all, right? So those are a few things that I do, in my opinion, we should improve. I mean, the core TCK profile should be just a plain jar sitting on central. You can have whatever additional test you want over there, and well, you just reference that from your build and run that. That's fine. And we shouldn't be mandating signature tests if you're just referencing the official APIs.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. That's not a nice condition, and nowadays you definitely do not do that in that way. I'm personally happy that the core profile is now extracted and available as some separate artifact, even if it is a zip file consisting a lot of sub artifacts. The core profile for the current Jakarta release is not released yet, and that was discussed today, that this could be released soon. So there's still time for improvements and modernize that behavior. And for the signature tests, there are still implementations on the Jakarta side that do want to replace the APIs, and therefore the signature tests are required to ensure if not the official jar is used, they still be compliant. I don't think that's a good idea at all, and I would prefer to release the official API with a separate license. For example, release that on the Eclipse license and the Apache license, which will solve most implementations issues on that, because that's for licensing is one aspect, and then for some performance optimizations is the other aspect, as far as I remember. I would say we should give your report to the Jakarta TCK and platform team, and maybe the next release can fix at least some of these aspects.
So with this, actually, I was going to recommend Roberto. Can you send an email to a platform, to the Jakarta platform mailing list? Basically, it's
yeah, I can do that.
yeah.
That's
I
fine.
will. You know that the mailing list, do you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just to clarify, I'm not against the signature test, right? So I understand that our implementation is still required, but what I'm saying is for implementations that do use the official jars, that shouldn't be required, right?
But the thing is, Roberto, how can you prove they do use the official jar?
I mean, you prove it on the report from where you download the dependencies, right? So, I mean, Central gives you like a unique address, right, for your artifact, right? So if you point into that particular artifact on Maven Central and you see that on the report from dependencies, then that's the proof that you have. I mean, unless you're saying that you don't trust on Central, but if you go in if you go in that direction, then it's going to open just like a huge kind of worms.
Yeah, I think maybe the signature test is just like easily to prove. Actually, you use that. If you do not change it, hopefully it's pretty much easy to run the test, right?
I mean, not that easy, right? Especially, I mean, for instance, on Quarkus, we're doing a couple of things with Central, right? So for us, Central is the trusted part, and we do signature validation of the jar files that come in from Central, right? So everything that has to be downloaded and installed, basically this is for security reasons, right? Everything that has to be downloaded and installed on Quarkus manually, it's just like a pain because you have to go through a lot of configurations and be able to access all of that. So Quarkus will whitelist those binaries, right? Basically, we did this to prevent people to impersonate Central or other repositories. And for us, like downloading a zip file and installing artifacts on your local repository, even if it's just for running the TCK, for us, it's just like saying, well, those jars cannot be trusted. Even if the zip file comes with a signature to verify, I mean, you cannot reliably verify where the zip file came from.
Okay, so it's I think it's probably the best for you to basically explain this.
No, sure, I'll send something. And let me add an additional thing about the licensing. So I understand that one of the issues about the Eclipse licensing and the Apache licensing, but we did fix that for the MicroProfile stuff, right? So we had that issue before, and we did like a few profiles on the parent POM for MicroProfile to just replace the licensing when you're releasing with Eclipse ones, and
Yeah.
that was deemed acceptable by Eclipse. So I don't see a reason why that cannot be done here as well.
So the license for the TCK, there should be a Eclipse TCK license, right? So what's the problem with the license?
As far as I know, the problem with license is that you have like Apache licensing for developing, but then you require the Eclipse licensing for releasing. Right?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
So, and I guess that the issue was at the point, I don't know, maybe we were lazy, I don't know, but it was just easier to do it manually or whatever, I don't know. Then we came up with like that automatic approach on the parent POM, and then you can just release, and you know that the releases will go with Eclipse licensing, and then if you do development, you know that you have the Apache license, so it is fine. I mean, and we at the time, and if you probably remember, because that was with Kevin, we went with Kevin. We went for the entire process with all the licensing stuff, and that was approved by Eclipse. So
I think the issue is not the license on the TCK. The issue is the license on the API artifact. The API artifact could be public domain by law. It can be handled or treated like that. When you remember the law case between Oracle and Google for Android API access. So yeah, that could be solved for sure. Yeah.
But the core TCK doesn't have an API, right?
Yeah.
TCK basically is the kind of it's the different license from the API license. API is the kind of, we use the Apache license, and then Jakarta, some of them use Apache, some use EPL, and etc. But for TCK, for the final release, you got to use Eclipse TCK. And for the basically milestone and non-final, we use Apache license in MicroProfile. For Jakarta, I do not know for milestone which license they use. Yeah, so anyway, so thank you so much, Roberto, to like basically clear basically it's have a detailed discussion on the kind of Jakarta MicroProfile TCK, basically the observations and etc. Yeah, so we can follow up in that mailing list. We will see whether these things can be improved. Certainly, I think the zip should be able to upload to Maven Central. Hopefully, as Yan said, we might be able to fix it in this release. Okay, we are 2 minutes over. Are there any other urgent comments you want to make? Okay, if not, thank you so much. And next week is the steering committee call, and see you there. Okay, bye everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.